Picture this. You open your banking app on a totally normal Tuesday, just to see if your paycheck cleared, and instead, your stomach completely drops. A massive, mysterious transaction has just drained your account. It is a terrifying scenario, right? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we are equipping you with the exact step-by-step roadmap to fight back, recover your missing money, and lock down your finances with Ally Bank. Every single second counts, so let's jump right in.
Seriously, what actually happens when your money just vanishes into thin air? When you see an unauthorized charge, the clock to secure your account starts ticking literally instantly. You can't just wait around and hope it fixes itself.
Just take a look at this number, $3,000. According to our source materials, this was a real-world scenario where an unauthorized $3,000 tuition charge hit someone's checking account years after they'd actually graduated. Talk about a shock. Whether it's a massive, crazy charge like this, or just a sneaky double billing for a $10 streaming subscription, or even outright fraud, we're going to break down exactly how you can fight back and win.
We've organized all this chaos into a really clear path for you. We'll cover the panic of missing money, categorizing your transaction type, the exact steps to file a dispute, timelines and provisional credits, Zelle and advanced tactics, and finally, staying vigilant and knowing your legal rights.
Okay, Section 1, the panic of missing money. Let's talk about immediate triage.
The absolute first thing you need to do is stop the bleeding. If this mystery charge involves your debit card, open up the Ally mobile app or their online portal right away and freeze the card using the digital control interface. This instantly blocks any new authorizations, but, and this is super clever, it actually still allows your pre-authorized recurring bills to process, so your Netflix won't get cut off. Once it's locked down, immediately call their 24/7 fraud hotline to officially set your defense in motion.
Moving on to Section 2, categorizing your transaction type. You really need to know your regulations here.
So you have to categorize your transaction right out of the gate because your legal rights depend entirely on how that money actually moved. Disputing a charge on your Ally Debit MasterCard falls under what's called Regulation E. This is cash that was pulled directly from your checking account. On the flip side, if the charge hit an Allo or Merrick credit card, which are partnered with Ally, you're operating under Regulation Z. With credit, you're basically just registering a disputed debt, and any finance charges are paused while they investigate. It's like a totally different battle plan.
All right, Section 3, steps to file a dispute. Let's initiate your claim. Because Ally has a bunch of different products, you've got to make sure you're hitting the exact right target on this directory. When you make that call, keeping a super calm, professional, and factual tone is absolutely key. If you've got a general deposit dispute, call the main line. For Allo or Merrick cards, definitely use their dedicated numbers. Just stick to the raw facts, Give them the date, the exact amount, and the merchant. Try not to let the frustration take over. You really just want the agent clearly documenting your case without any confusion.
But listen, a phone call often isn't enough, especially when we're talking about credit cards. Sending a formal, written billing dispute letter with these precise details to their designated billing inquiries address is what actually protects your rights. Your letter has to include your full name, that 16-digit account number, the exact dollar amount, the transaction date, and a very clear explanation of the error. And if you're disputing a debit charge, Ally Bank might ask you to submit a written statement of unauthorized debit within 10 days of your call. Getting all this down in writing, that is your absolute shield.
Which brings us to Section 4, timelines and provisional credits. Basically, when to expect your refund. The magic number to remember here is 60. Under both of those regulations we talked about, you generally have a super strict 60-day reporting deadline, starting from the date the very first statement showing the error was made available to you. If you miss this 60-day window, your financial institution is no longer legally obligated to help you recover those funds. So don't sit on it.
Once you file, the bank actually has to step up. If Ally needs more than 10 business days to investigate a debit dispute, they generally have to issue you a provisional credit for the missing cash. That means you get your money back temporarily, while they take up to 45 days to wrap up their findings. Now, if the transaction happened at a point of sale in a foreign country or on a brand new account, they can stretch that out to 90 days. But keep this in mind, if they asked you for that written confirmation we just talked about and you didn't send it, they can totally revoke that provisional credit, so do the paperwork.
Next up, Section 5, Zelle and Advanced Dispute Tactics, navigating peer-to-peer payments.
Okay, so Zelle disputes are incredibly tricky. Your options here depend entirely on how fast the thing processed. If a payment has a built-in delay and the person you sent it to isn't enrolled in Zelle yet, you can actually go into your app and cancel it. Awesome, right? However, if the payment was instant and the recipient is already enrolled,
That transaction is finalized immediately. The money is literally gone, and standard chargeback rules just do not apply here.
That being said, there actually is a small silver lining. While instant transfers usually can't be reversed, our sources point out that certain qualifying imposter scams might actually be eligible for reimbursement through an enhanced security review. So, if you got tricked into sending money to a scammer who is pretending to be a legit business or a government agency, acting fast is crucial. Call Ally immediately.
Finally, Section 6, Staying Vigilant and Legal Rights. Time to protect your finances long-term. Look, a dispute isn't necessarily over just because the bank refunded your money. You've got to be proactive. You should immediately place a fraud alert with either Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion, and by law, telling one automatically notifies the other two. You might also want to consider a full credit freeze just for maximum security. Also, definitely keep an eye on your check systems report for any accidental negative marks, and for sure, keep a strict paper trail of all your letters and any police reports. Build a fortress around your money. I absolutely love this quote. It's pulled directly from the billing rights notices in the source agreements, and it perfectly captures the whole point of the Fair Credit Billing Act. These consumer protection laws hold banks strictly accountable to the timelines and the written communication rules we just went over. If a credit card issuer drops the ball on their end of the investigation, your rights are rigidly protected. You literally get to hold them to the letter of the law, which is pretty empowering.
Now, just a quick heads up, this explainer is strictly for informational purposes, based entirely on the provided source documentation. We're breaking down the text for you, but we aren't your financial advisors or your attorneys. Please remember to always contact Ally Bank directly using those official numbers we highlighted to handle the specific details of your own personal financial situation. So you are now armed with the exact roadmap. You know how to freeze a card, figure out the regulations, file an ironclad written dispute, and demand your provisional credit. The only real question left for you is, when was the last time you carefully reviewed your statement to make sure every single penny is exactly where it belongs? Take a look today. You honestly never know what might be hiding in your transaction history. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and definitely stay vigilant out there.